Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to touch on something which is just useful whatever you're doing in life, whether it's something personal, business related, goals. And we all get caught up in the importance of what goals mean. Everyone has their own different idea of, what is a goal, how to define it, how to write it down, how to go through it. And it's something that I've tried since I was 16 and done different things from daily affirmations of my goals to visualizing them to sitting back and imagining it to just repetitively writing it down every single day. And they all have great power and great purpose. However, sometimes we just lose traction and we lose that passion for these goals. And sometimes there's a bigger reason for that than just that they weren't good enough for you in the first place. But what I want to really go through today was some useful things that I have personally used and use now that really help me stay aligned and motivated. So what I want to do is if we've got our goal here and all of a sudden the important thing to first of all focus on is you need to write it down. It's all right saying you want these things. You need to physically write it. There's something magical about writing it down. Don't type it. Don't put it in notes. Put it on a clean sheet of paper in a notebook, something physical. Get a pen and write it. But make sure you write your goals in such a way where you talk more as if you already have them. Talk as if they are already in existence, and talk that you are already possessing that which you're after. The mind has no way of figuring these things out and will prove the reality. So you've heard that famous saying, whether you think you're right or you're wrong, you are right, basically. If you think you're right, you are right. And if you think you're wrong, correct, you are wrong. And it's the whole thing, and we can break it down even further. Winners focus on winning, losers focus on the winners. And it's all about how you put these things down with the right perspective. So always physically write your goals down is the first thing that I've done, but write them down as if you already possess them. You are possessive of these goals. So for example, years ago, I wanted a VW Passat. I drove a friend of mine, Touareg. I couldn't afford a Touareg. I didn't think big enough, but I thought, okay, a Passat will do. So I wrote down, I'm going to own a blue Passat, like 2006. And I kept focusing on it, and I sat back and I was like, trying to imagine what this would be like. And then I started to seek external stimulation. And this is the extreme I went to for a bloody Passat, is I went to a car dealership about 10 miles from where I lived, and I saw they had a Passat similar to what I wanted. So I said, look, I'll pay you £20 for your fuel and I want it for an hour. And they agreed. So I paid the guy £20, and I remember I drove the car and I sat in it. And at the time I had some crappy Ford Fiesta that was falling apart, and I sat in it with its leather seats, and it was just like, wow, I got hold of it. And the power, everything was so much better. And I remember I drove all the way back to my house at the time, parked it outside my mum's home, my home at the time, and took a picture of it. And then what I'd done is I recorded a video, and I was like, make sure you remember this moment. Feel how great this is. You are going to be experiencing this very soon. I mean, I was just like full of elation, and I was buzzing. Handed the keys back, made some excuse to why I couldn't buy it then and there, and went on my way. But it was just this powerful emotional connection which really helped me align everything. It wasn't just the physical written word. I then added more to it, more emotion, more feeling, and this is what makes it more and more into reality. I then went to go look at buying one when I couldn't afford it. Turns out there were some problems with it, and I didn't end up buying anyway. And then, long story short, I eventually got the car. It wasn't the car I wanted. It was a few years older, but it was still a very clean example of what I near enough wanted. And that teaches you another lesson about your goals. Just because you've specified what you want, don't get disheartened that you won't always get the immediate thing you wanted. You will sometimes get things which are a stepping stone closer to it, but nonetheless, you have to track the progression made versus the immediate gain. So yes, I got an 03 plate one, but it was a fully spec'd one. It wasn't quite the newest looking one, but it was nicer spec than the new one I wanted, except, there was a stepping stone. But nonetheless, I consciously had that goal written down. And unless you consciously have your goals written down and you're aware of them, life just takes you and throws you about. You go down different rabbit holes, you explore different things. Shiny things get in the way and take you off your mission. If you've got goals, tell you what, it's like, imagine you've got, like, the horse that you see when they're trotting along on the road, and with their rider, like they've got a cart on or something, and they've got these blinkers on, that they're basically, they can't see the shiny cars coming past and distracting them. All they can see is the road in front, and they can feel the whip making them go forward, and the guy controlling, steering him, and they get from A to B because they have a focus and they know where they're going, or at least they have, they're not getting distracted. And this is what goals allow you to do. So write them down, then seek external stimulation. You need to seek things which stimulate you. So, if it is a car you want, tell you what, I'm terrible at drawing wheels on this thing. Last time it was the bloody shopping cart. If it's the car you want, or tractor by the time we're going with this, whatever. If that's the thing you want, find ways to seek more stimulation, more motivation, more things behind it. If you can't go and test drive, or you don't feel confident to go and test drive the car, then go on YouTube. Listen to what the car sounds like. Watch a review. Imagine that you're doing it. Go into the car dealership. Put yourself in a position where it's almost expected of you to do it. Stop delaying things and giving excuses why you can't get something. Just put yourself in a position where it's going to happen, and eventually the world works in a way that it makes it happen for you. But you have to put all these things in. It's not like you're going to just say, I want to have a Ferrari, and then you're going to magically have a Ferrari the next day. You need to plan it meticulously, work at it, figure a strategy out, because the biggest thing with goals is breaking them down into bite-sized chunks. So let's say this is the Ferrari, yeah? This is the Ferrari, it's like, wow, stunning. And, it looks amazing. And you've like gone, I'd love to have that. But now you need to break this down. So it's like, okay, cool. How are you going to get it? And the reason you do this, because imagine now I said, look, your goal is to get a Mini Cooper. Your brain stops thinking, like, you just go, yeah, because it's achievable already. That it's going to cost you maybe £200-300 a month, or you have to put 10-15 grand down. Like, already how to get that and how to do that, so your brain doesn't process any more than that. So if you go, right, I want a Ferrari, and the price tag is maybe it's a 4 or 5 out Italia, and we're looking at, I don't know, 180 grand, and then you go, all of a sudden your train of thought differs. You now know you can't go down the conventional route of maybe working a particular job, saving a particular way, or doing a certain thing. So then that goal evolves into something bigger, and it changes the direction completely, whether you want it or not. So if you want that, so now you start going, right, how can I afford that? What method am I going to do that? And this is where things then break down further, and you start exploring other avenues, and you find things which can link back to that goal, which could mean an entire career change, an entire educational sort of process you have to go through to learn certain skills and do certain things. It's amazing how things evolve, but you have to first, with all goals, consciously think of the idea. Think about it visually, map it out, write it down, then plan how you're going to achieve it. And, like I said, put yourself in the position of gaining more stimulus, going to dealerships, speaking to people, getting a passenger ride, a test drive. Even if you want a Ferrari, if you go, right, I want a Ferrari, I don't know how to get more stimulus. If you don't feel comfortable going to a car dealership, maybe your next goal is to save enough money to rent it for a day, drive it around London, drive it around France, drive it around Milan, wherever you live, and feel it and experience it. Take photos of it, save it on your screen, on your phone, put it on your background, have something to constantly remind you of it. Then have your goals behind how you're going to do it. Again, You may set deadlines and you might work your ass off towards it. It might not happen. The other art of that is to not give up. Like, you've already done 99% more than the average man does by first thinking of his goal. Then you've done what even smaller percentage do, is write them down. And then an even smaller percentage actually visualize it. And then an even tinier percentage do all that and then write a plan of how they're going to do it. Look, your plan's going to evolve. Things are going to change. And don't get disheartened when a certain goal differs. It's all an educational process of it. You know, you've evolved as your goals will. That's part of the process. So, you know, like I said, what has helped me is all these things, is writing them down. But I'll have loads of notebooks where, there's just two to hand. I'll have loads of notebooks where I'm writing down, I'm writing down goals and things and constantly working on it, because you need to keep it consciously aware in your mind. It's like, the crazy thing with goals is, as a society, is we kind of review it like once a year. We get to New Year's and we sit down over Christmas, fat and full up with all our roast dinner, and we're like, then New Year's comes and we're like, yeah, new year, new me, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do that. And then you get this huge momentum, huge drive, and then it all dips down. You put no foundations in place. You've not written them down. You've not visualized them. You've not set a plan. They're all just whimsical pieces of basic bullshit to make you feel better about why you didn't do it the year before. The reality is there is no such thing as a reset button in a time. You can't just treat a year after year after year. It's not a year. We are constantly moving forward, and each section that we've moved forward from is gone forever. It's not a year. You just miss opportunities all the time. You know, there's people younger than me and older than me that have achieved things I want to achieve. Why haven't I achieved them? It's my own fault for not doing certain things. No one else's fault. I could blame lack of money, lack of funds, lack of contacts, lack of anything. It's all down to me and what I want to do. Because ultimately, it's the same for these other people. They set a goal, they've done whatever it took to get there. They had the plan and they executed it. Simple as. Whether your plan is to, run for 5 miles without stopping, doesn't matter. See, people think that goals and writing them down and doing all this stuff should be only for those daring to think big. But it's not. It's anything from big to small. If your goal is to run 5 miles without stopping, awesome. Write it down. Visualize it. Feel. Get yourself in a position to do it. Get your running clothes on. Feel it. Visualize it. Watch running videos. Just immerse yourself into that and go out there, set a plan. Maybe it's to run 2 days a week. You know what? And you go out and the first day you are screwed. You can't do any more. Okay, cool. Who cares? Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither was anything else. Next week, go for 1.5 runs. Boom, you nailed it. Next week, go for 2. Boom. Next week, go for 3. Oh, you failed. You only done 2. Don't get disheartened. Keep going. Because you've got your bigger vision and your bigger goal and your bigger motive, and you've mapped it out, you've visualized it, you've set your plan. You can keep going back to it. Don't look at your bloody goals once a month, once a half year. Like, that is ludicrous. It's like you now want to make how do we draw a beef Wellington? I don't know. But basically, this is a beef Wellington. A grey, oval beef Wellington. And you have no idea how to make the pastry, how to cook the meat, how to make the filling, the mushrooms and everything else, what temperature. So guess what you do? You seek a way to do it. So now you go find the written way, yeah? You find the written recipe. Then there may be visual pictures, a visual allowing you to see what you are going to try and make. Oh, wow. Then, in this section as well, there is also bullet point step-by-steps of what to do. So now all of a sudden, you had the idea, you seek it in its written form, with a recipe. and visuals, which allows you to see it and understand it. And then there's a mapped out plan of, step by step of how you're going to do it. And guess what? You follow it. You know what? After you followed it, what might come out? Instead of a beautiful gray oval, might be like a pinky red one. But it doesn't matter. The principle of it is you've started the process and you began to excel at it. Then, like goal setting and like achieving what you want, you repeat the process. You go back to what you wanted before. Okay? You go back to the recipe, your written goals. You go back to the visual representations of what you want to achieve. You go back to the process of how you're going to achieve it. And you then try again. And then guess what happens after you do that? If you don't get it, you go back, you do it again and again and again. And you don't stop until you get there. Now it's that cheesy thing of, don't stop, never give in, rah, rah, rah. Well, it becomes less rah, rah and more simplified when you have a process. Yeah. It's not some motivational thing to brainwash yourself. There's a process. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Look at how I'm making a beef Wellington now. I had the idea of making a beef Wellington. That's my goal. I've seen the written way to do it, the recipe, the guidance, the visualization, the process, and I've repeated it. So now I want to get a Ferrari. I create the recipe of how I'm going to get the Ferrari, the visuals of the Ferrari, and then the process and steps I'm going to do to get the Ferrari. And I keep trying to get the Ferrari. Maybe I begin with a Fiat 500, then a Vauxhall Corsa, and then I get a Volvo, then I get a Range Rover, then I get like an 03 Bentley, then I get a Ferrari. But if I keep consciously working on it, it keeps aligning me with it. Therefore, the opportunities and my purpose is driven towards it. If I just look at this goal once a year and then go, oh, I didn't get it this year. New year, new me. I'm going to get it this year. Go out there for the first few weeks like, yeah, I'm going to get it. But I have no plan, no purpose, no driven vision, mission or anything. It's going to dissipate again. I'm going to get pissed off as you have with yours. So I hope my little doodles and explanations have been useful. But like I said, when it comes to anything business related or personal, use this and you will see some awesome bloody things happen. But if you found this valuable and anything at all of good, like this, subscribe. It lets me know that actually I'm talking some sense, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, guys.